What's up, YouTube? Yeah, guys, Zan back at it. We're in the garage. Tony's bike is, we gotta wait for a lift. I gotta call Hebler's. There's a, where is it? Right here, there's like a locking washer thingy. I don't know, there's some kind of lock in here that I gotta get off so we can drop the engine out with other bolts too. Like I left the whole thing bolted, but I think that that's ready to drop. So today's project, though, we've got a Suzuki GS650L or GS650L, I believe it is. The casing for it are over there that say it on there. 4-cylinder, 4 carburetor, 650. I don't know much about this bike. Just came in. My barber actually owns it. He just bought it. He doesn't know much about it, and we are going to try to take a look at it. Problem I'm having right now, just so you guys know off the bat, first thing I've done is I took the airbox cover off, and it was full of mouse nest, but it's pod filtered, so actually this whole box almost can go, except it looks like there's stuff attached to the bottom of it, so maybe not. But it's got pod filters. Everything seems to move, like the throttle moves, everything moves, the choke moves, but as soon as I plug a battery in, the volts on the battery drop from 12 to like 8 if the headlight's on. So I think there's a short somewhere in the headlight system, and it doesn't like to turn over right now. So well, we're going to have to play with it. Not a problem. We'll figure it out. I want to take the tank off. Actually, I don't even know if I need to, but I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to take the tank off. That'll give me better access to get the carbs out, I think, because it looks like they can. Yeah, we'll do it that way. And then we're gonna take the tank off at least just to open it up, and we're gonna play with this. We're gonna turn it over by hand a bunch of times once I get the repair manual out. We'll see if we can get it to fire up, and then get it to run better. Also, getting the tank off actually gets me to access all the wiring, so that's what I need to look at. There's a lot of things that could be wrong with it, a lot of things that couldn't be wrong. There's a bunch of other wiring that's happened to this bike. Like these, I don't even know where this... Oh, these are for the turn signal, so this probably isn't the problem. Just because they're just turn signal wires, but we'll see. But there's some wiring that we're going to clean up and make look better. There's a couple exposed up there that don't look great that I've found so far. Gonna make it look as nice as I can for him. I'm just gonna use it as a commuter, really back and forth to work to save some gas. Don't blame him. No, well, those are cool. Then we're gonna give it a little wash, make sure it runs well, safe for him, and then give him recommendations on what he should get. Like okay, like maybe better mirrors. I don't know. We'll see. But first thing today, the unit heater doesn't work. It's cold out here today, so I'm hoodied up and cold as hell, but we'll get there. I figured that out too at some point, but I'm over it. Yeah, so I'm going to get to it. Let's pull this tank. Let's get looking. See what we can find. Well. Got the tank off. The first thing I find is disconnected and cut wire. Yeah, so under the tank, these match up. There is a male end for this, but this wire was hanging out, just chillaxing. So I'm wondering if that might have been part of the problem with the bike. Is just that wire was rubbing up on something and causing a short. Hey, that would be way too easy, right? Probably. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the battery back in once I go over the top of the mirror and see if it's fully charged or not. We're going to plug it back in and see if I get this to turn over a bunch of times, telling me that, hey, well, you're not losing power anymore. Like, whatever, the system might be better. So, we're going to try that. I also see some, I got this wire down here, and this relay control here, that the relay that was on here was actually full of water. I don't remember where I put it, but it was like, I flipped upside down, oh, here it is. Let's see if I can get it. Looks like it dried out. This thing was gushing water yesterday when I flipped it up. No one's going to come out now? You're going to make a liar out of me? You're a liar. So I don't know if this will even work ever again, or if it's waterlogged on the inside, but we have to assume that it's just garbage. And then I think it was this way and this way. Oh, that side's still wet, so probably still some water in it. Oh yeah, it's starting to come out now again. Yeah, so I'll need to play with the relay a bit. I don't know why there's a 2-pin here and then a ground here for this relay. I don't think, obviously, it's not the right relay for this, so might have to look into that. I know I have a relay right there. Is this the relay? Somewhere in here I have a relay for this bike that is 2-prong for the turn signals, and maybe I'll just... Is it that it? I don't know. It's somewhere in here. It might be this guy. Maybe I'll swap it out with that and try it in here, see if I get that to work when we get to that point. But getting the engine running is the start. So, hey, already finding some problems that we can fix. Also, a little dirty in here. We'll clean this up a bunch as we go. And then worst case, boots are pretty corroded too. The plugs look newer, so we'll see. We'll see what we can find. Gonna keep tearing it down. See where we can get to. Also, if you guys do wiring like this, like you see the wires exposed on that end, that's not good. Like, oh look, this thing's just coming loose. Like, feed the wire through all the way, and then take a piece of heat shrink tube or I usually take the red piece off and I heat shrink tube the whole thing, but so I'll show you how I do that later. So let's get that battery and see if this works. All right, YouTube, new development here. Pull this in, turn it to run, start, and it makes that sound. Don't think the starter's engaging properly, and something smells like sulfur. Rotten eggs now. So we're gonna start pulling more stuff apart and try to figure out where that's coming from. Because that's not right. So I'm wondering if starter solenoid or what could be possibly blown or dying. But man, it stinks now. Whew. I wish you guys could smell this. Terrible. So yeah, I don't know why the bike would smell like rotten eggs when you hit the starter, but here we go. We're gonna have to look at where exactly the starter unit is in this, starter solenoid, all that. But the battery was fully charged. I got the voltmeter on it. Battery tender said fully charged. Everything was good. Man, why? Why does it smell like rotten eggs? What the hell? Okay. Yeah. More work to do, apparently. That's the weirdest thing ever. Cool though. But it slowly turns over. Very slowly, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna figure you out. We're gonna figure that out. Okay, YouTube. Battery reads 12.5. System seems to be working fine. Turn it to on, and it won't turn. So I took the side cover off where I got the contacts are, stator. I don't know exactly what this is called in this bike. I have to look all this up still. But I can turn it by hand. The engine turns over. I took the plugs out. It's still pretty tight. Like there's still resistance in there. So I'm wondering if this thing's like just needs some love here. Because if I do this a while or a little bit and get it to a point where it gets past a stiff point, what it did before is if I try this again, it'll slightly turn. So I'm wondering if this thing is just so lit up that it's been sitting for so long that it's just, I'm gonna drop some oil down. I think each of the pistons, and just try to see if I can rotate it that way by hand. Like I know I can rotate it by hand, but I'm gonna drop some oil down there, like some 0W20 maybe, some light oil, and see if I can get it to rotate better. The other thing I need to check, and I didn't yet, which is probably not the greatest idea ever, is looking over here. Do we have oil? Oh, key picture. It looks like we have oil, but I can't be sure because it's so dark in there. So we're going to drop the oil out of this momentarily, because it might just be that this thing is low on oil, or the oil is so bad that it's like sticking. It looks wet. It smells like oil. Yeah, so we're gonna drip some oil down those cylinders. Try to get them to move a little bit more. And see if we can get that to rotate more. But at least it rotates a little bit, so progress. And we're not losing voltage. Before, when I plug this in, I'd lose voltage, and there's been some wiring mishaps I've disconnected. And I've pulled one of the fuses too, and it seems to have helped. And it could just be that the starter needs a rebuild, which is underneath the carbs. It's like over here somewhere under the carbs, so I got to take all that off. But I'm going to drip some oil down those and just rotate it a bunch of times manually, and just feel if it loosens up personally. See how I feel about it. Yeah. Back to it. All right. So I dropped actually some penetrating oil down each of those because I was like, it's probably going to work better. And if this thing's already this messed up, I can't really hurt it. We're going to drain the oil anyways. And once we get it running, it'll just blow up on us. I can turn it by hand. Fairly easy, like not surprisingly too difficult. And I did a finger top compression test, which is, hold my thumb over this and wait for the squeak on all four. So we have compression in each one. We have intake in each one. But I still cannot get the starter to engage. Well, I can sometimes. It's like very slightly, but it's like it's not working right. Hairball. So now that I know we have compression in each one, at least, I'm going to take the carbs off completely. Pod filters completely out. Intake boots probably can stay for now, but I want to get to the starter, which is, and this is the left side of the vehicle. It's down here somewhere underneath this cover, and it looks like I can take it out without disassembling the full engine. I've got a repair manual over there, but I didn't fully read it. And I'm going to keep this battery, I'm going to pull it out in a second and put it back on charge, which I keep charging it over by the door for some reason when I have electronics over there. So I'm going to rearrange a bit. I'm also going to look to make sure this thing has enough cold cranking amps to power this engine. That might be the wrong battery. I don't know for sure. So I got to look up how many cold cranking amps. In worst case, I'll have to call my dealer tomorrow, my Suzuki dealer, which is my boys at Hubblers. And I'll have to get the correct battery for this, because if that's not the correct battery, no wonder this thing won't turn over. But we're still going to clean a lot of stuff up, so it doesn't hurt to double check that that starter. So pod filters, carbs out. I think I'm going to end up disassembling the carbs partially. You can just make sure, basically pull them off, make sure the floats work. Clean the bottom of them all out. I think that should be enough to make sure this works. And then I got to talk to the owner about what he wants to do with that air box, because it's literally useless right now. There's nothing there except it's holding something together in the bottom, which isn't supported. Like there's a rectifier thing in the bottom, but it's not really supported by anything. There's like bolts missing or something. So figure out what to do with that. We might fabricate something to hold the rectifier and regulator on there instead of that, and then waterproof it, or we modify this in such a way that mice can't get into it again. Cap off this and you can use that as storage. I'm just coming up with ideas on the fly here. Zan, gonna just get to work and shut up. Oh yeah, YouTube, ultrasonic cleaner has been putting in work. This is all stuff for the 650, my 650, my 650. Tony's bike I put outside. I bought a couple bins. These are from Walmart. I have a set of these from Home Depot. Hi, honey. And I'm putting all the small parts in there. Oh, she brought a label maker so that I can label the batteries. She's getting out of camera because she hates me. We've got the bike up here. We've got the carbs off. This is the Suzuki. Now I got to take this plate, which looks like these 3 bolts, off. And we should be able to get to the starter to try to A, jump it, B, figure out where these go to. One of these might be what I need to get to really start. Okay, so here's positive. It looks like off the starter solenoid. And this might be the negative side. I don't know, but we're going to try to jump it and see if we can get it to spin faster after we open it up and see what it looks like. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Carbs are, sorry honey, you're back on camera again. Look at her, she's cute, isn't she? She's gonna flip me off into there. Carbs are here, 4 of them together. Gonna drain them if there's anything left in the bottom, and we're gonna play with this and test them. They all look like they're working, but someone has been in here messing with fuel to air ratio. So I might have to, once I get this thing reassembled and running somewhat, I might have to take it somewhere to get properly calibrated because I don't have a sync tool. Can I buy a sync tool?
How much is it?
I have no idea. Probably expensive. No, I don't think I need it. But if I can get one cheap, we might. Because we have other carb bikes. But carbs are out of style. They're not on new bikes, so maybe not. Who knows? Yeah, so that's going to be the next step after a quick break. I'm going to go hang out with the cute wife. And yeah, we'll get back to it. Probably later tonight. I just want to keep working. Okay, bye. What's up? Yo. Okay, YouTube, we're back. I've got the starter motor here. Don't know how it comes out yet, but 2 bolts there, probably. That starter motor found. I'm gonna guess this is a wiring harness that goes regulator rectifier kind of stuff. It goes down in here, and somewhere in here is the stator system. I don't really know what this is yet. Haven't really looked into that. But the power for the starter is here, and it goes to the starter solenoid here. And I'm going to take this off because maybe I'll take it off. There it goes. Because what I want to try to do, is clean this thing up. So I want to pull it out, clean up those contacts a bit, and give all these contacts a nice good cleaning. It'll help. But the other thing we're going to do, which is going to be pretty cheeky, is we are going to take this positive and that negative. I'm going to put the negative in the... It's a terrible connection too. I'm going to put the negative on the battery, and then I'm going to touch the positive and see if we can get that to spin freely. That would tell us that if that starter solenoid is gone. Done this type of test before on cars, where you just touch the... and you just tap it, and you'll listen to it and see if it goes on. The other thing I might have to do... No, I shouldn't have to. It's in neutral. I was going to say I might have to pull the clutch in. It's in neutral. The other thing I'm worried about is the clutch stuck? Is that part of the problem? Is it not expanding and contracting enough? Or is there not enough fluid on it to make it right? Also, labeled the batteries. 2 bikes I'm working on, plus my bike. All the other batteries that are in the bikes, I don't think the Duke yet, because the battery for the Duke is right there. It's annoyingly right there. That's not labeled, but every other bike battery is, because they've been out of the bike so many times. Okay, so cross your fingers, don't break anything. You shouldn't. If this doesn't work, which it might not, then I guess the next step is going to be, actually I don't even know what the next step would be, tearing down the clutch side, emptying oil, starting to get into the engine itself. I'd prefer not to. I'd prefer to get it running without getting into the engine that much, but it is what it is. Might have to. Okay, get the negative really set. Good enough. Got the positive for the starter, and turns. Not well. Okay, it's not really turning. Okay. It started to, and then it stopped. And it's the battery that I'm smelling. So the battery might be shite. Whoa, yep, battery is what smells like rotten eggs, which is what I kind of assumed. There's a vent hole right there that's posted up right at me. Okay, so this battery might just not be great. I'm going to take it and get it tested. And I think what I'll do is we're going to look at the cold cranking amps on it, which is 210. We're going to verify that A, that's good enough for this bike too. He doesn't need. Bless me, thank you. And then we're gonna just, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That port right in the side is what stinks. Okay. So we've got 220 or 210 cranking amps. This one has, doesn't tell me off the top of it, which is odd. So I don't know if that's the right battery or not. But this one's for the XS650, and it's a. I know the XS650 takes some cranking amps. So we're gonna do probably what I shouldn't do, is we're gonna test this battery and see if this helps at all. We're going to try to hit it against the starter. Same way we just did that last test, because I know that this one, well, I knew this battery was good. I don't know if it still is. And we're going to see if we get a little more activity out of this bike. Plus, it seems weird that the bike goes the other way. But, okay. Oh, dear Lord. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Holy hell. Let's see if I can get this battery sitting here for a second. Like, I like this battery already better for it, which is crazy. And we're gonna actually connect. We're gonna do some testing with this battery. Holy hell. And then I'm gonna look up batteries for this. I'm gonna see what we can get, and I'm going to get part numbers, because I'm going to see if this is the correct battery for this bike, which it could be the same battery for all I know. Then we might just have to run up to Hebler's and get a battery. But man, was that a lot more power. Holy heck. So yeah, I'm going to say that battery's shot. Okay. Let's see if she'll turn over better now. Perfect. Okay, so let's cease and desist taking apart the engine anymore. Let's clean the bottom of the carbs. Let's get a new battery, because obviously that battery's shite. We're going to redo some wiring on this. We're going to do a lot of cleaning, fresh fuel, new regulator and everything. New relay for the turn signals, and we'll keep working on it. But yeah, we're just going to call that battery garbage, and we're not going to plug it back in at all, because yeah, so the sulfur must be from the battery. I mean, obviously I don't smell it now, but man, that was a lot more power. This battery doesn't have a vent, I don't think. But now I'm going to smell all my batteries. Tony's battery's charging again? I had this thing fully charged. Weird. Or I thought I did. So we're going to keep that battery on charge. We're not going to use that one. We're going to say it's shot and just go from there. But, okay, so, I mean, I'm glad I found something out. So I still want to clean the contact down here. As you can see, it's dirty. Some of this stuff, clean some of this up, clean up this. Probably coat this with the brake cleaner stuff too. The thing. But that's a hell of a test. That's a great find right now. That the starter runs, the whole engine was turning over freely without too much hassle. Cool. So let's clean the carbs up. I can't sync them. I don't know if I'll ever be able to sync them. We clean the cover up that was on here. It's over here. It's pretty dirty. Just gonna spray it down with some Dawn dish soap probably, and light, not wire wheel it, but brush it with a like toothbrush kind of thing. Might have some toothbrushes, I do, and we'll clean that up before we put it back on. And yeah, cool. We're getting somewhere. The other thing, I still have taken this fuse out because we're having power problems. Could it have just been a shit battery? Yes, it could have been just a shit battery, Sam. But we'll play with that. We're also going to we're drain the oil in this at some point. I think right now I'm happy with this engine the way it is. He said it was running the way it was, so we're going to leave it running. We're going to do some touch-up. We're going to note that hose is MIA, which that's just probably why there's oil all down here. Is that looks like the same breather I have for the XS650, and because they took the box off, the breather box, that hose doesn't have anywhere to go. I'm thinking either that or it's this hose. Let's bring this back over. We've got a cut hose, which these might have been the more breather hoses that are MIA, which we'll have to figure those out. This goes in this way. Yeah, this is fuel. This is air tank. So this is another thing that the XS650 has kind of missing. This is a crankcase, I believe it's called, crankcase breather, where oil and gases sometimes build up in the top here, and this lets it breathe out. It's kind of like a PCV valve kind of thing for a car. And I know I'm not explaining this perfectly right, but the reason this whole top of the engine is dirty as hell is because that hose is missing, and it should be going into the breather box here or here somewhere. There should be a hose that I don't see that would then recirculate some of the gases into the intake so that it burns off those gases, but it's not, so it's creating all of this garbage on top. So we're going to clean all that up too before we do anything else, and we're going to find a hose that'll go on there and at least come down here, and we'll cap it off and tell him, hey, by the way, every 500 miles or whatever, you got to drain the oil out of this somehow and make it better. But oh yeah, that's coming right off, so we'll get in here, we'll clean up a lot of this. Nice. But I'm just glad the engine spins freely. So next steps for Zan are I'm going to... Yay, it moves. Yay, it moves. Yay, it moves. I'm going to drain the bottom of these carbs. I don't know if there's any fuel in it or not, but I'm going to drain all these. Let it sit overnight, draining. And then we're going to take the bottom of each carb off, make sure all the floats work and everything. And then probably start taking some of the top off of this. I'm going to replace all of these rusted out bolts with stainless steel, even though they are already replaced with hex, which is a great way to go, by the way, guys. If you're ever replacing bolts on carbs, hex head bolts like this are amazing because they're just easier to get out later in life. When you start looking, I don't want to flip this too much, but on the bottom there's Phillips. They get tougher as time goes. So, but we'll get stainless steel. We'll replace these with stainless. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it. I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, carbs bottoms are out. These are damn clean. Like for what they are, there's nothing in these. There's a couple little pieces in one of them, and I got that out just by rubbing it. But these are pretty darn clean. I'm gonna say these are good to go. Be reassembled. I'm gonna get some carb cleaner and just spray everything down. I'm going to try not to mess with these as much. He said it was running and it wasn't well, but that battery was shit. So maybe it's just the battery was so low, it was barely keeping this thing going. So we're gonna use that as an assumption. We're going to replace spark plugs at some point because these are kind of old. They don't look terrible, but freshen up. I'm going to get some carb cleaner, spray these down just to get any other grit that might be in here out. I'm going to look to see if I can get new gaskets possibly for the bottom of the carbs for the drain. They do look a little old. Not the worst, maybe, but maybe. Yeah, and that's fine. The one thing I do want to talk to the owner about, and he'll have to let me know if that's what he wants to do, is I want to take the top of this off and replace all of those bolts with stainless steel. Personally, that's just a personal thing of mine. They're crusty and rusty, and it's just going to keep getting worse. So I'd love to have his go ahead on that. I know it's more of a nitpicky thing, but we're in here. Might as well get it done. Got to make sure I move that over to there. Just because then it'll just look better. It'll last longer. It'll just be better longer. Yeah, so I guess I gotta call my parts guy and be like, yo, I need a battery. Should probably take a picture of that. D8EA spark plugs. Get some new spark plugs for it. And other than that, for this bike, I think we're gonna clean that up, slap the carbs back in, put new plugs in, and I'm actually gonna put these in tonight in here, just that dust and dirt and stuff doesn't get in there. We're gonna give it some cleaning. back in here. And then we're going to get a temporary fuel setup so I don't have to put the tank back on because the tank wires are messed up. We'll have to fix that too. And then I think it's going to be a test. I mean, I really think that this bike is good to go from what I've seen so far. Without getting too much into it, there does look like there does appear to be possibly a small oil leak behind this. Just there's dirt right here. There's like oil residue, so we might have to address that, or at least look into it. But it's on the same side over here. Huh, interesting. So we'll have to look into it, see if the seal needs to be replaced or anything over there, and then we'll redo some of the emission stuff that's been eliminated but not really dealt with. What's this? Oh, that's the fuel tank things. I should plug that back in so I don't lose it. And then I think it's time to give it another test. See if I can get it running, then start chasing down any electrical issues, and then hopefully that's really it. I mean, if I have to sync the carbs, I'll have to take it somewhere. There's no way I can do that without tools that I don't own. Oh, oil change, of course. We'll have to give an oil change. And then just adjustments, I hope. That'd be an easy fix, and a good cleaning. We're going to learn how to detail bikes a little better this year, starting with this one, I think, because it's the first one that's going to probably be done. Tony's bike is going to be a tear down more of the engine. I'm starting to rebuild the 650 engine. I got to time it and assemble, and then I should be able to put that back in the engine, or back in the frame, and then start rebuilding that. I'm going to take the carbs that are out already. I'm going to take the bottom off like I did with this and look at it, see how they look. For tonight, these will just sit right back up on here so that nothing gets in. I don't want to leave anything totally apart like that in the garage, just in case. And then this one had the gasket still on it there. Yeah, we'll do a little cleaning. We're gonna have some fun, I think. Got this gasket that goes on right here, like so. I try to close things up if I can a bit. Well, especially on other people's bikes. My 650 will stay open for all I care. That's my bike. There we go. Got my music playing too. And then 3. Bunch of cleaning to do. Some tightening up for the night, but really I think this is a hell of a day one on this. Oh, here's some more wiring that I'm gonna redo. All these connectors, if you're going to do connectors, in my opinion, like that, just solder it. Like, solder and heat shrink it. It looks so much cleaner than that. But I mean, not everyone has soldering iron, and soldering is really not that hard. Maybe I'll do a quick video on how I would do some of this wiring that is in actually, I will do a video on it because I'm going to show you in this. It's not tightened down. And then we're not going to really get polished this too much. We're just going to clean it. It'll look great. Yeah. So I've been Zan. Day one complete on this. Day one complete yesterday was that. Making a hell of a lot of progress. These bikes, not only take longer, are going to be really cool when they're done and fixed. If you guys want to see more, keep following me over here. Instagram is going to get updates a little bit sooner because I can take pictures a lot faster than I can edit videos. I mean, that's just how it is. Like you might see some pictures of these bikes before you see the video. And Facebook too, if you guys are on there. But I like Instagram. I post to Instagram, share to Facebook. It's easier as a creator. The other thing we're going to do with this one is, I'm guessing the clutch is right here. Once we drain the oil, we're going to take the clutch. It's supposed to be a sticker or something on that. You see Suzuki, like, and there's like, oh no. Is that GB weld? Oh, that's like rubber gasket. We're going to take the clutch out completely, and we're going to soak the plates because he said it was having trouble shifting. So just before, like, get it running. If it runs, cool. And then we'll actually, I guess I have to figure out what the actual plan of attack is on this, because now I'm jumping back and forth between things. I think what we do is we get the battery, we put the carbs back in, we try to fire it up. We get everything ready and fired. Once it fires, with a temporary, it's not a temporary fuel system, take it all back apart, the fuel system. We start cleaning up like this exhaust or this hose, clean all this up, put everything back together, make it look really nice. Then we drain the oil, then we pull that off. We clean the clutch up. There's no sprocket because it's driven. We check any other fluids we can. We clean up any of this electrical stuff that we see messing around, and then the bike goes back together fully. It should be good to go. It's got these neat turn signals on these little guys. Those are cool. We'll have to make sure they're wired right. Like this one's not wired 100% right, and they got these little connectors. We'll make it look a lot cleaner. He's got a nice clean bike for his first bike. If I can get this out, maybe we'll wire wheel it, give it a paint job, and we'll make it look even better. So yeah, stick around. We're going to be having some fun here. Peace out for the night. Mouse turds.